Story 1. My girlfriend told me she is pregnant but I am sterile. I am from a sea country and my first language is not English. Backstory. I got into an accident after my college and will never be able to have kids. None of my family members know of this. They know about the accident but not about this. I have always wanted to be child-free, so it did not affect me much mentally. I have finished my master's degree last year and never dated before. I got a very high-paying job directly through campus placements. My parents immediately wanted me to get married after getting a job, but I wanted to work on myself and explore a bit. They said no and I said that it was my wish. All my life I did what they wanted, and for the first time when I talked against them, they were not happy. This was last year and they gave up after COVID started. So I picked up some dating apps and went through them but no luck. Then my parents introduced me to a family friend's daughter and we clicked kinda. Looking back, I was a fool. She said yes to anything I said and never complained about anything. I felt kinda weird about it. I wanted her to express her interests, but she always said she was interested in whatever I do. Well, I did not think much about it. I said that I won't have kids ever and she surprisingly said okay. I was like, damn, she is probably the one, as it is very hard to find a partner who is child-free in my country, or at least I thought. But we were in the initial stages and I have not told about my accident. Long story short, we had sex a month ago. I used condoms because safety first. The next day on, she started ghosting me a bit. I thought it was due to my performance in bed and wanted to give her some space. Then she texted infrequently and only replied oaks and Ks and one-line answers. I thought maybe she wanted to end the relation and was sad, but left it at that. Yesterday, all her family came to my house and she claims she's pregnant and the father is me. Needless to say, I freaked the fuck out and wanted to collapse on the ground. I did not say anything while they were talking about marriage and stuff that needs to happen because I got her pregnant. Please advise me on what steps to take now. Reddit. Update. Let me start off by saying I am very grateful for all the Redditors who took their time to read and give me advice. I was overwhelmed by the amount of comments and how many of you said it might not even be my kid. Looking at it from a different perspective gave me much more insight on the whole situation. I called my boss and took today off. I called up some clinics to get tested and was given a slot on Friday afternoon. Then I went to the store and bought some pregnancy tests and asked only her to come to my place tomorrow, i.e. today morning. I also called my parents and before I said anything, my mom asked me if I had any good news. I was shocked by what she said and asked me what exactly she was talking about. She then played dumb and I knew that the situation was more fucked than I thought. I cut the call and cried all night till 3 a.m. Grown-ass man crying for the first time since 8th class. She came today morning with her parents even after I told her to come alone. They were under the impression that I was gonna discuss engagement plans with them. I told them to wait outside and called her in and they threw a fit. I told they can all go back or let her alone come in. They said okay. I took out the pregnancy tests and gave it to her and told her to prove that she was actually pregnant and told her where the bathroom was. She started screaming at me, never done this before. I was shocked at this. Then she went out the door and called her parents in. Now everyone is screaming at me in my own home because I asked her to prove the pregnancy, not even a DNA test. I told them all to fuck off and 1 hour later my parents and they all came to my home and they spilled the beans. She was never actually pregnant, as many Redditors said. My parents were afraid that I was getting old for marriage and wanted me to marry and give them grandchildren. They said that in arranged marriages, no need for the people to actually get to know the spouse because parents choose only the best for their kids. They planned this all and were only waiting for me to have sex with her to do this. I broke down and cried again. All my life, I did exactly what my parents wanted, always scored high and never asked for anything. I told them to get out and never talk to me again in between crying, and they said parents know what's best for their kids and I should do what they say. Then I got extremely angry and told them to fuck themselves in my native language, which was very bad. For once, I think they knew I was serious with them and they all left. I blocked them all before sending my parents a message to never again contact me in my life, even if one of you is dying. Cried for some more time, went through some dog videos and went through all my messages on Reddit, and I feel like I owe you guys this update because it was you guys who helped me do this. That is all, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Story 2. My 33M wife, 32F, said her ex's name while we were having sex. Wife says an ex's name while we're having sex. Now I question what's going on. Should I be looking into if she's cheating? My wife and I have been married for 4 years and we have a 2-year-old. We dated on and off for 3 years before getting married. Last night, she says her ex's name while we are having sex. She gave some weird excuse as to why. She said it's a common name. It is a very common name, and must have heard it recently? I wasn't going to start a big argument with her at that time. It has since gotten me worried about why she did that. For some background, this was a guy she was with for a couple years before I met her. They met in college and were serious for some time. They had broken up when I met her and decided they were better as friends. They were friends for years before they dated. We started dating, but he remained in the picture. He was her best friend first and foremost, and I grudgingly went along with it for her. Several months pass and I put my foot down, saying it's too uncomfortable for me. There was some resistance, but she steps back from him. Every time we broke up, she was with him. We finally reconciled and got engaged. He apparently didn't know this and stops talking to her. She was devastated, which should have been a red flag. We talked about it and she was happy to have chosen me. Now after this has happened, I'm tempted to see if she's gotten back in contact with him again. I know she's checked in on his social media because I saw the searches on the laptop. She doesn't know I know that. I don't think she'd cheat, but this guy was always different for her. Do I just confront her? Do I start going through her phone? Or am I being paranoid? On to hers. I was able to get on her phone when she was asleep. She must have forgot I knew the code. Nothing in texts and no weird calls. So she deleted them. I did find some apps she tried to keep hidden, like Snapchat and Kik. Sure enough, there's their conversations. And pictures. I took pictures of all of it on my phone to have as proof. She exploded when we had the conversation and left with our child to her mother's. I contacted a lawyer and am in the process of a divorce and figuring out custody. I'm heartbroken and am more angry than anything else. I'm angry at her, but I'm also angry at myself for dismissing so many red flags. The conversations I found were confirming they were having an affair. The pictures were ones they were exchanging, including nudes.